The Epstein files are singeing the MAGA base of President Donald Trump. It has been the single biggest polarizing issue in the last 6 months that President Trump has been in office. Last week, one of Trump's top attorneys met with Ghislaine Maxwell, a longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein and a fellow convict, and that meeting has set tongues wagging. Is Donald Trump getting ready to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Todd Blanche, Attorney General Pam Bondi's deputy and a former personal attorney to Donald Trump, conducted 2 extraordinary days of interviews with Maxwell, who was once a fixer for the former financier Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell is now in prison in Florida on charges of sex trafficking and is serving a 20-year prison term. Her lawyer estimated that over the course of the 2 days of extraordinary interviews that she gave to Todd Blanche, Maxwell answered questions about 100 people, although her lawyer did not specify clearly whether those people included victims, associates, or others who were implicated in the sex trafficking case. Or he didn't explicitly mention whether there was any topic of discussion around President Trump and his name figuring in the Epstein client list. Maxwell has made it clear that she wants her 20-year sentence either thrown out by a court or reduced, or better still, a presidential pardon. President Trump, asked whether he would consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, said that he is allowed to do so.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
Attorney Blanche has described his trip to Florida to meet with Maxwell as a neutral fact-finding mission. He says he would share details of the discussion at an appropriate time. But he has also declared that the federal criminal investigation into targets beyond Maxwell and Epstein are currently closed. By that standard, new interviews with Maxwell would appear to serve purposes that are beyond traditional law enforcement, unless there is some kind of new evidence of criminality that's been discovered. The Justice Department offered Ghislaine Maxwell conditional immunity to discuss her case, but the protection did not apply if she was found to be lying in her interviews. In total, the interviews lasted about 8 to 10 hours. The discussion between Blanche and Maxwell has also stoked concerns from critics of President Trump that he may give Maxwell a reprieve by giving her a presidential pardon. Senator Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader, questioned whether Trump's attorneys had offered Maxwell some kind of corrupt deal so that she can exonerate Donald Trump. Some conservative news outlets which have been friendly to Donald Trump have now begun to soften their tone about Ghislaine Maxwell. In fact, they had previously described Maxwell as a child sex predator, but now they are suggesting that she might be trusted to tell the truth about the case. This week, a host on Newsmax, which has praised Trump in the past, went so far as to suggest that Maxwell just might be a victim who was not given a fair legal hearing. That is something you wouldn't have heard from the Trump MAGA base up until a few weeks ago. No offers of clemency have been made by the White House, neither has it been discussed in the meetings between Blanche and Maxwell, and Maxwell's lawyer has said that she's not asking for any kind of quid pro quo for answering questions put forth by Trump's lawyers.
If she is seeking a pardon, how do you go about doing that now with a potential congressional testimony pending, with the Deputy Attorney General?
You know, we're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And you know, listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way. Thank you.
Ghislaine Maxwell has appealed her conviction to the Supreme Court of the United States, arguing that she should not have been charged in the sex trafficking case in the first place. She says she's protected because of a non-prosecution agreement that federal attorneys in Florida had reached in 2007. That agreement promised that potential co-conspirators will not be prosecuted. And Maxwell's case and her argument is that she should be protected too from prosecution, not just in Florida, but also in New York, because it was agreed to by federal prosecutors. The US Congress has subpoenaed her to testify in August. Maxwell has put forth some conditions that must be met if she were to give her testimony, one of which is immunity from further prosecution. She also wants reduction or pardoning of her sentence. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill have rejected such preconditions. More importantly, there is now new audio out of President Trump where he's heard talking about Epstein stealing girls from his Mar-a-Lago resort. In fact, he refers to one of them by name, Virginia Guffrey.
Just to button up on Mar-a-Lago, you're saying that Jeffrey Epstein poached 2 of your staffers. Who were they?
I don't want to say 2, or I don't want to say any number. You're talking about many years ago. But yeah, he took people, and because he took people, I say, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took, beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it.
The president's team is working desperately to try and quell the rebellion of Trump supporters who feel that either the president himself or certainly some of his senior appointees led them astray during the campaign, where they made all kinds of claims that they would make the Epstein files public and that there would be retribution for the big-name liberals whose names had been hidden by the Democratic establishment in the Epstein files from coming out. Right-wing influencers have pinpointed Ghislaine Maxwell, who was also Epstein's former girlfriend, as the key to unlocking more details about the convicted sex offender. Those who have clamored for more information about Epstein's crimes and the circumstances of his death have long suggested a conspiracy that shields liberal elites, particularly the ones who were good friends and pals with the disgraced financier. Still, questioning Maxwell has helped take away some of the pressure off Trump. Ghislaine Maxwell helped Jeffrey Epstein recruit and manage his roster of victims. She was convicted in 2021 of conspiring with Epstein for nearly a decade. She refutes those charges. She's also made it clear that she wants her 20-year prison sentence thrown out or reduced or pardoned. Now the ball is in the president's court.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.